Springs, Texas, and he will be having more reports on Infowars.com. We'll be right back. I'm David Knight.
Not a group you to all listeners that show.
David Knight can lead to very dangerous complications if those ribs puncture your lungs. That has not taken place yet, but it is going to impact his work. And I can tell you that my wife had a bad fall on the stairs once and broke 3 ribs in the back like that, getting hit from behind. It can take a very long time to recover. It is extremely painful. He said this type of injury is caused by high velocity severe force. It's not clear exactly how soon he will return to work, as the pain is considerable, as is the difficulty in getting around, including flying. So not clear as to the motives of the individual who attacked him, other than the fact that we know that the guy is a liberal Democrat. Perhaps that had something to do with it, if not being the primary motivation. Meanwhile, we see a memo actually leaked to support the information that Donna Brazile has been telling us about the Democrat Party. And I find it interesting that we have this memo leaked internally from the DNC, and this is the second one that we've had leaked in the last week. The previous one being somebody leaking some information about an IT manager who said, we've got to hire some staff, but don't even bother to submit applications about white, straight, cisgender men. In other words, men who are not transgender. I guess, if you're identifying as a man, even if you are white and straight, that would be okay for them. I don't know if that's straight or not. But anyway, that type of identity politics, saying we've got to be ready to compete in everything from president to dog catcher. But first of all, we have to have identity politics. But the key thing, besides what is revealed in these memos about the Democrat Party and the fact, as Donna Brazile has been telling us, this nomination wasn't stolen. It was bought with stolen money. This is Hillary Clinton. She essentially bought the DNC. They had run themselves into massive tens of millions of dollars of debt under Obama. Then she came in with a war chest of stolen money and bought them out. And that's what the memo tells us. Now, as we see these 2 memos leaked by disgruntled insiders of the DNC, they still want to tell us that if we say that the initial DNC leaks were from an insider, as we were told by a former UK ambassador who came to the U.S., he said, to get those leaks. As we've been told by William Binney that it was not possible for some of these files that they say were hacked by Russians, it was not possible for that to have happened based on the size of the files and the amount of time that it took to transfer them. So don't listen to WikiLeaks who say this was not from a state actor. Don't listen to the UK ambassador who said, I actually received these files from an insider who was disgruntled. Don't listen to the former technical head of the NSA. As a matter of fact, if you say that those people are telling the truth, then you're a conspiracy theorist. You need to get on board with the conspiracy theory that came out from Hillary Clinton, and it's still being sold, by the way, by Donna Brazile, saying the Russians hacked this. They didn't want you to look at the information. It was a diversionary tactic. That's why they did that. And that's why Twitter shut down half of the tweets that had a hashtag DNC leaks. They did not want you to see what was leaked. They wanted you to only focus on their phony conspiracy theory that the Russians had hacked this. I think these 2 leaks that came out in this last week are very instructive. Meanwhile, we say very quickly here, there's a U.S. journalist, 25 years old, thrown into a Zimbabwe jail, looking at 25 years in prison for tweeting about the long-term dictator there, Mugabe, who is now 93 years old. This is what Marxism looks like. And this is what we have to understand when we're talking about this kind of totalitarian regime that we see taking over in parts of the world. Quite frankly, the Democrats who want to take over everything in your life, who want to ban and control everything about your life, understand that gun control is people control, writ large. Stay with us. We'll be right back. I'm David Knight.
America is an information-based civil war. That's why now more than ever, we've got to hit the streets of America and let these globalist scum know we're not backing down from their bullying. We're only intensifying and free speech.
As we pointed out beforehand,
running, and so get about
another 5 to 7 minutes later. So he's able to shoot for 5 to 7 minutes. The police are getting calls of what is happening. They get there as quickly as they can. Meanwhile, the guy has already gone. Meanwhile, these individuals have already stopped the attack, and that was Stephen Williford, who grabbed a rifle, went there, got involved in an exchange of shots with him, and shot him evidently in the side. That's what they're saying. He had a shotgun. The other individual had an AR-15. The killer had the AR-15, and the man who stopped him had a shotgun. I mean, if you're going to look at superior firepower, certainly in stopping power, the shotgun is going to be superior, but not a very accurate weapon, and doesn't have a very fast rate of fire. But it's the less favorite call to ban the assault rifle, and yet it was an inferior weapon that stopped this attack. And even though the guy had body armor, he knew to shoot him in the side, where he did not have any body armor. I think that is the takeaway here. We have to understand that the police did not get to the church until well after the individuals were gone. And even as these people are telling where they are and that they're driving, it still took them another 5 to 7 minutes to get to the scene of where the car had crashed and the man was either dead or had bled out from the initial shotgun blast. To me, that is the issue here. We got 2 heroes who stopped the fight and who killed the individual. Now, that was conducting the murder. I want to go back to an interview that I did with another hero who also stopped a church attack. This was a situation in South Africa. There were 11 people that were killed. I believe it was 58 people that were wounded. In this particular attack, he was visiting the church. He had incidents in the past where he had carried handguns. We're going to play that for you. But the bottom line that you have to understand is that this was an attack that began with hand grenades being thrown into a church of about 1,500 people. It's a very large church. And they also had fully automatic assault rifles in the liberals' terminology. They had fully automatic rifles. And this is a guy who only had a .38 revolver with 5 shots. And he stopped that attack. I want you to hear what he said as they were coming in, his first impressions as the attack began.
Right at the front door of the church, where everybody could see right next to the stage, there was a noise. And I thought, these people should really come in at the back door. They shouldn't make such a big scene at the front. And these terrorists stepped into the congregation. And it was interesting because I had thought that there was a play taking place. And it's only when they started opening up fire with their automatic assault rifles and they lobbed the grenades into the congregation, and I saw the effects of the rifle shooting where wood was actually shooting out of the benches, splinters were shooting up into the air, that I realized this was not a show or a play that was taking place, that this was a serious terrorist attack on the congregation.
All right, now let's go ahead and play that next clip, because he talks about how you have to process this and you have to understand what's really happening, and then listen to what he says happened as the people were trying to avoid the shooter.
It takes a couple of, I don't want to say a couple of seconds, it's probably a split second to realize what's going on, but it's almost like your brain and your eyes are trying to communicate with each other that this is reality, and it's not a game, it's not a play, and you need to react accordingly.
Exactly. Now once you realized this was really happening, what did you do at that point?
We went down onto the ground as low as possible. Everybody ducked down. They tried to get as low as possible below the benches, underneath the benches, and tried to keep their heads down. It was interesting because some people, for instance, one little girl, she just froze. She couldn't move. And her little friends next to her, Richard O'Keel, who was 17, and another young friend, they went down onto the ground. And so Richard was concerned about the little one sitting up, and he knelt on his knees and went up into the air to pull her down to the ground. And as he went up, he took a bullet in the back of the head, trying to save her life. And another young man, Gerard Harker, is 21 years old. He had a hand grenade land in the aisle next to him, and he fell on top of the grenade with his full body and took a full blow to himself to try and protect the people around him. And his younger brother sitting next to him was also killed in the incident. I went down like everybody else, and I pulled out a .38 special little snub-nose revolver, commonly known as a Saturday Night Special, and I knelt behind the bench in front of me, and I took 2 shots at the attackers.
All right, let's hold it there because we've got to go to a break, and we're going to continue with that compelling story, and we're going to tell you what happened to this guy in his thinking, because he was a Christian, he was a missionary, and he had to think about whether or not he should arm himself to defend other people. And it's a blessing on that day that he did. You heard the people who were sacrificing themselves, the individual who jumped on the grenade to save the people around him. That is heroism. And we have people who are willing to do that. We just need to make sure they're not unarmed. Stay with us. We'll be right back. I'm David Knight.
I want to plow into all of this, but I'm going to spend a few minutes here first, just encouraging listeners to understand that when you buy t-shirts or water filtration systems or books, InfoWar,
That's Brew Take. Welcome back. I'm David Knight on this Monday, November the 6th, 2017. We're going to go back and play some more of the hero who shot mass shooting. There was a church that was attacked by 4 stopped the attack with just a .38 snub-nose revolver, shooting from the back of